Welcome to I Told My Therapist About You. My name is KeNaytra, but I go by my nickname Polly. Yes, like Polly Wanna Cracker. Yes, it is that one. Um, if you want to know how I got that nickname, because a lot of people ask me, my great grandmother. I was a fat little kid who held out my hand like this all the time. And my nickname at the time was Pie Face because I had like this super round face. And I did that, and she had some crackers, and she said, Polly want a cracker. And they went from calling me Pie Face to Polly, which I am grateful for because I don't want the name Pie Face. Like, who wants to be called that? So, yes, that's how I got that nickname, if anyone wanted to know. Um, I am 25 years old. I work at a retail store in the produce department. So this isn't like something I'm trying to do full time right now. I just wanted to have a podcast, which is probably a red flag. um, I'm the reason I started this podcast, since I'm saying I just wanted to have a podcast. I had multiple podcasts before. Um, and I loved it. I was making money off of one of them. It was a very nice thing, but I was also a housewife at the time, so I had free time. Now, though, I wanted to start I Told My Therapist About You because I just recently got re-diagnosed with bipolar type 1, and the reason I say recently is because I moved states and I don't have my medical records in the Louisiana where I'm currently in. I'm from Louisiana, but I had moved to North Carolina. But I didn't have my medical records from North Carolina, so I had to get re-diagnosed with all of my mental illnesses. And I did get re-diagnosed with bipolar type 1. But also wanted to start this just because I don't have many friends and I have a lot of thoughts. I literally just want to get my thoughts down and out there. And if people listen, great. If people don't, I mean, I'm going to just be screaming into the void, but great. I'm just getting my thoughts out there and having a hobby to do on the side, which I think is, I don't know, fun. Um, so yeah, that's why I started this podcast. And you can expect literally anything that I am willing to tell my therapist. You can expect me to say it on here. Well, probably not anything. I'll probably keep some things a secret. Yeah. But anything like not so severe that I would tell my therapist, I will be saying on this podcast. And I am a big advocate for therapy. So go get therapy if you can afford it. I know it's expensive. If you got the health insurance that allows you to get therapy, go do it, please. We all need it. Even the people that think they don't need it, that's the people that need it the most. Just saying. But yeah, okay. Anyway, today's topic, I'm going to be talking about how I got re-diagnosed with bipolar type 1. Um, if I seem like I am not someone with bipolar, don't say that. just don't say that. You don't know what someone has based on how they look, how they sound when you're talking to them. Like, just don't say it. Let's get into what bipolar type 1 is, though. I'm going to read the Google what do you call this definition, like the Google, what Google says. So bipolar type 1 is a lifelong condition characterized by manic episodes that last at least a week or prompt medical attention. Mine's prompted medical attention, if you are curious. Manic episodes involved an elevated or irritable mood and may include increased energy, decreased need for sleep, racing thoughts, rapid speech, changes in appetite or concentration, increased self esteem or grandiosity. People with bipolar 1 may also experience depression or both depression and simultaneously, known as a mixed episode. So, I got diagnosed while I was in a manic episode, which most people end up that needing medical attention because of it. They end up being in a manic episode and don't understand. Um, Bipolar type 1 people can be very impulsive. My impulsivity included spending like a lot, and you don't think about it. Like when you're in a manic episode, you're just like, yeah, I want this. I'm going to go get it, and I'm going to feel good about it, which is not good for your bank account. Luckily, I share bills with someone, so if I'm spending money, that's my money to spend. It's not putting my living situation in a bond, I should say. But there's some people who has bipolar type 1 that's not sharing bills with someone that will impulsively spend, and they end up spending their bill money, and it's something that they can't control. Like if you're in a manic episode, it's going to happen if that's one of your impulsivity things that you do, if that makes sense. So yeah, I have mixed episodes a lot. So one of the first things that happens whenever I'm entering a manic episode is I stop sleeping. Like there's no such thing as me sleeping. I will literally just stay up, and I'll be trying to go to sleep, but it just don't work. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. My thing lately has been crafting, like scrapbooking and stuff. So I'll be like, no, I need to go scrapbook a few pages and post on Lemonade, by the way. Yeah, I post on Lemonade my scrapbook pages, and whenever I'm entering a manic episode, I'm like, yeah, I need to do that. Like sleep. Who needs sleep? No, I need to get this stuff done, and it's not good, but hey, I'm productive. I guess look at the positive in things. um, yeah, so that's what Google says about bipolar type 1. There is a type 2 disorder, which I will get into. I should also say that I've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety also. So that is something that I have along with bipolar type 1. Okay, so get into I'm gonna say mostly like the differences between bipolar type 1 and type 2, cuz it's kind of the same. It's just a little bit different. So, here is what compassionbehavioralhealth.com says um the differences between them. Uh so I am not in a reading mood. Okay, so it says one of the significant distinctions between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 is the severity and duration of manic and depressive episodes. In bipolar 1, manic episodes are more severe and can last for several days or weeks. In contrast, hypomanic episodes in bipolar 2 are less severe and typically last for a shorter duration. My thing when I explain bipolar 2 and bipolar 1 to people, bipolar 1 is more grandiosity. I said that word earlier, now I can't say it. Yeah, that's more of everything's more upper. Like it's a upper kind of thing. Like you have depressive, I have depressive, like the mixed episode, right? But more bipolar type 1 is you have like your self esteem gets a boost. Like you can't be told anything. Everything is great. Everything's wonderful. You have a lot of energy. You have so much going for you while you're in a manic episode. And I mean, that's not like a bad thing, but with bipolar type 1, it can be. Bipolar 2, I always say it's more depressive. If it's more like less hyper, more downer kind of thing. Um, they say the differences with the impact on daily life. It says because of the intensity in duration of manic episodes, bipolar 1 may have a more significant impact on an individual's daily life. The impulsive behavior and decreased need for sleep, often associated with mania, can disrupt relationships, work or school performance, and overall functioning. While bipolar 2 can still significantly affect daily life, the impact may be somewhat less severe. So bipolar 2, it just honestly, it's a less severe version of bipolar 1. They're basically the same. It's just a little bit different. Um but yeah, so I have bipolar 1, and I want to talk about how it's easier for me because like no one knows who I am. Like I'm starting this starting this podcast, and like I said, I'm more productive in a manic episode. So I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line I might have a manic episode and record some podcasts during those episodes because I get productive. So I'm gonna be up late at night while my boyfriend and baby are sleeping, and I'm gonna be like making podcast videos because I'm gonna be saying I need to get stuff done. But I want to talk about Kanye. Yes, the rapper Kanye. And the reason I want to talk about it is because he is like one of the more well known people that has bipolar type 1 that is in the spotlight. And I want to talk about all of his manic episodes that we got to see because he was such a public figure. And then, of course, you had the Keeping Up with the Kardashians and all of that. So we got to see it and how people made fun of him for it and judged him for it. And this is something that like you literally cannot control. Like you can get put on medicine and stuff, and the medicine helps, which I will talk about what I'm on. But the medication, it does help, but it doesn't stop it. Like we don't get on medicine and then all of a sudden we don't have bipolar anymore. And I feel like that's what people expect. Like people stigmatize bipolar. They stigmatize it. That's just in general. Like when you say you have bipolar, they're like, oh, you're one of those people that like literally would be happy one minute and sad the next. Like, no, that's not that's not how bipolar works. But I'm sure if that's what you think, kind of thing. Um, so yeah, it's stigmatized. And then like we saw Kanye having all of these manic episodes, and like dude thinks he's a god. And I mean, some of it is our fault as like fans, and if you're not a fan of Kanye, then this is not talking about you. But as fans, we called this man a genius. Other people called this man a genius. News outlets call this man a genius. Blogs, everything. He was a genius because of the way that he rapped the things that he did. And as in his manic episodes, he became a god because of his increased self-esteem. Something that he can't control, yes, but people have demonized him for now. Like he has literally been demonized because of his mental illness that he cannot control. I I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't do it. I'm starting this podcast, yes, and if it gains traction, I will be happy, yes, but I do not want to be so famous and so in the public eye that people will demonize me for something that they know I have and know I can't control, but just because they want to be able to judge and be better than. That's what I look at, because people are like, well, I would never do that, blah, 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 and all that stuff. Well, of course you wouldn't. You don't have bipolar type 1. You wouldn't do that because you're not him. You're not diagnosed with the same thing. Of course you wouldn't do that, but you just want to be better than him because of whatever reason. I don't know the reason. So you have that. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But hey, that's how people are. Um, yeah, I just could not be in the public eye with that. Anyway, going to the next thing, the treatments I'm receiving. I am on medication, but before I get to medication, I want to talk about the group therapy I am in. I don't have the best insurance, so I am trying to find some one-on-one therapists that take my insurance because therapy is expensive. It can be like $200 a session expensive. You can find some that's $75 a session, but even that is pretty steep in today's economy. So found a place. Well, I didn't find it. Was I needed medical attention, so they found this place that takes my insurance, and it's a group therapy. I thought I was gonna hate it. Like you hear group therapy and you're like, the hell? I'm not telling these people, random people, my business. Like, hell no. There's no freaking way. That's what you think, right? And that's how I was when I heard group therapy, but I was in such a bad place that I was like, you know what? Whatever works. So I got put in this group therapy and it's been going great. I've had 4, 5 sessions. I'm gonna show y'all my little book that I do. It's probably too bright. If I'm trying to do a YouTube channel with this, so I am videoing too. If you want to head over to I Told My Therapist About You YouTube channel, go ahead, please. But anyway, so I have this little thing that I bring into the therapy appointments, and I just write down like our check-ins and stuff. And so I went 4 times. I was supposed to go 5 times, but I had to miss a day, which they're very lenient with if like life is happening and you can't come in because I go to night sessions. So my night sessions is from 5:30 to 7:30. But so I'm gonna talk about like the little check-in that we do because I think it's pretty good. So each person goes down the line or however they want to do it. They'll call out a certain person, whatever, right? And you have to tell them your sleep, how's your appetite, how on scales of 1 to 10, your depression and anxiety, and like explain what like why you think that it's so high or so low kind of thing. Um, we say SI or SH, which is just suicidal ideation or homicidal ideation. You could say if you have any of that. You tell them how you feel physically, how you feel emotionally. You do if you're meds compliant, so like if you're taking your medicine or if you have a complaint about your medicine or anything like that, that's what you say in that time. And then you have a goal for the evening. That's what we do every time we go in. We all go down the list and say, I write mines down in my little book so I can remember throughout the day how I'm feeling and stuff. So I think that's pretty good. I really love group therapy. It has been very helpful, and I've been finding myself looking forward to actually going on the evenings that I go. But yeah, now let's talk about what I am on medication wise. I am taking Abilify and Lexapro. Abilify is, I'll tell you what Google says because they're a little more educated on it than I am. So, Abilify is an antipsychotic medication that helps treat several kinds of mental health conditions, including schizophrenia, bipolar 1 disorder, autism spectrum disorder, and Tourette syndrome. It balances the levels of dopamine and serotonin in your brain to regulate your mood, behaviors, and thoughts. It's a mood stabilizer. That's the reason I'm like it's an antipsychotic, yes, but it's also a mood stabilizer. Like it stabilizes my mood. So basically keep me from going up. That grandiosity that I was talking about. It stabilizes that. It doesn't let me go I am the best thing that ever happened to this world levels of manic episode. Yeah. Mania, I guess, levels of mania. And Lexapro is antidepressant. It treats depression, but it also treats anxiety, which I have both. So it's actually a good thing for me to be on along with the Abilify. Um, and if you want to know, like antidepressants, what it does, it increases the amount of serotonin in your brain. So serotonin is a chemical messenger that acts as both a neurotransmitting transmitter and a hormone. So it has many roles, but the main thing that we're talking about is the mood. Serotonin is involved in controlling mood, and low levels are thought to contribute to depression, anxiety, and other health conditions. Most people that have depression or anxiety have low serotonin levels. So, Lexapro, um, most antidepressants just increases the serotonin that your body is not making, and it helps you with that. So yeah, that is what I'm on. It has been helping. I have took lithium in the past for as a mood stabilizer, which I'm not going to get into lithium because I don't take it anymore. I if I have to take it, it's one of the stronger ones. So if I have to take it, I'll take it. But I don't. Abilify is working great for me. But yeah, so that is the first episode of I Told My Therapist About You. Yay! I am so excited to get this podcast out. And I was very happy with the topic today because I want you to know when I'm naming this podcast this because I had one on one sessions with a therapist before, but I have had therapy experience and I have a reason to be in therapy, even though I think everyone has a reason to be in therapy, but like mine is actually like medically needed. So it's not just me getting on here and being like, yeah, go to therapy because I am a deep person. I'm 14 and this is deep kind of thing. No, I actually need it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you would like to listen to this podcast on anything, I think the only thing it's on right now is Spotify. Or you can go to the YouTube channel. I told my therapist about you and just look for the logo. And yes, I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening in and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.